Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is a special edition, the Halloween edition of the Jamie and Joe Show, otherwise known as the Tony and Silvio Show. So welcome back. We're live at the Bada Bing, Joe.
Bada Bing. Boy, I tell you what, we're ready. We're going to get set.
The great thing about getting dressed up as the Sopranos today, Tony Soprano and the Commandant, the one and only, Singularity,
Silvio Dante. But I got to try not to smile so much because I don't think Silvio ever
stick
smiles.
out the chin a little bit, Joe.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, my nephew, Christopher. When I get my hands on him today, I tell you what, I'm going to kill him.
Oh, you know who else is giving me all kind of angina?
The Junior?
Yeah, Junior, of course.
Oh, my God.
Janice, Junior, you name it.
We're full of them today.
And then there's Paulie.
Oh,
Monarch, huh? This
Paulie Walnuts.
Paulie Walnuts on the dog.
He must have took a bath yesterday in those football games. I'll tell you what. It was a tough day of betting yesterday.
No money
So
coming.
we're live at the Bada Bing here, otherwise known as Studio 109. We got the new backdrop. You like the new backdrop?
Love the new backdrops.
Well, thank God.
It's perfect, too.
Yeah, it just fell off the
Look at
truck.
that.
So,
Fits.
it fits in here perfect. Yeah. Thanks, of course, to Spider behind the scenes. We got Spider from Goodfellas. We got them all here today. So welcome. This is the last day of the month, October. Happy Halloween. We're excited. This is a very special month because at Nutritional Frontiers, we really have two goals, Joe. One is to grow. We want to double every 3 years. And as we're on our mission of making the world healthy, we also want to give back.
Absolutely. We're going to give back. We've been giving back since day one. Sometimes they don't want us to give back, but we're going to give it anyway.
Oh, you're going to get it one way or another.
Get it one way or another.
So this is, of course, Women's Wellness Month, the month of October. And the goal at Nutritional Frontiers was to grow the business, but also give back. So we are donating $1 for every bottle that we sell on the monthly focus. And we're going to go through that because I really look at this as three bundles, of course. Mm-hmm. We have the Women's Complete and Beauty Complete, right? We have both cleanses, the UT cleanse and the Estro cleanse. And then we have thyroid support with Iodine Plus and Thyroid Complete. So I know this is a special month for you, of course, because we are giving back this month, and you've done so much incredible training on these formulations to help people because, we learned a long time ago that, when you look at the risk factors for cancer, it could be any kind of cancer, but in particular looking at breast cancer, uterine, ovarian cancers this month, and we're not making any claims, of course, but we do know that when you look at what's going on with the biochemistry of the body, that there's some major imbalances going on, right? Mm-hmm. Hormones are not being processed, and oftentimes people will say, well, it's estrogen dominant, right? Have you heard that before?
Yeah, you hear that all the time, and that's usually because they don't really know what the issue is. Right.
Well, and maybe it's worse when they say it's not estrogen dominant, so they don't think there's anything they can do. So let's just talk about that estrogen dominance for a minute because this affects not only females, but also males.
It sure does. I mean, the problem we're facing in our country is, we're having hormone imbalances without us even doing anything about it because of the food supply. So everybody's got to take these precautions, Jamie. It's just, there's so much soy in our diet. There's so much in the environment, all these xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens. So we've got a battle on our hands. We all have to do it.
Yeah, and this is nothing new. We've done our presentations and we showed the research going back to 1982.
Right.
That was before you were made, right? That's a long time ago.
I was a made man. That's right.
Well, they say Pikes Peak was a pimple back then. But back in 1982, the U.S. EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, did a study on xenobiotic exposure. And the reason they did this is because xenobiotics from outside the body, the challenge with a lot of these xenobiotics is that there's no real pathway in the body to process them, right? Because these are
recognize them.
Right, they're not from nature. No. So when we're talking about xenobiotics, the top 5 in particular they looked at are things like plastics, PCBs, dioxins, chemicals, those types of things that we're exposed to.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie, do you see anybody nowadays that doesn't have a plastic water bottle in their hands? Right? I mean, plastics are everywhere, and we think we're doing something healthy, but yet We're still getting some of those.
Yeah, so it's a matter of we are swimming in the sea of toxicity. You can run, Joe, but you can't hide from Silvio, of course. So they can run as far as they want, but you're not going to hide from all these toxins we're exposed to. So a long time ago, I learned from Dr. Bob Rakowski and Dr. Jeff Bland, two of my mentors, that we are swimming in this sea of toxicity, right? And you need to detoxify every day in a healthy way because, you know, people say, well, why would we store the toxins in the body? Well, they're fat soluble. So where do we store them?
In fat cells. And then when that happens, you have a multitude of things that cascade from there because you store them in there. That means you don't get rid of them. They're still doing damage. But those cells then can no longer be burned as energy.
And why we talk about this month with the whole issue with women's health is these are endocrine disruptors. Right? They affect the endocrine system. So if you're a young woman or a young girl, you know, maybe you fast forward through puberty a lot quicker, right? We see this with some of our family members, friends, neighbors, kids in school. You know, they are maturing at a much quicker rate. So that creates all types of hormonal issues. And then, you know, going through, you know, early adulthood for a woman, right? And then into adulthood, and then, you know, looking at, you know, transition to menopause. But it could be even having issues with PMS, right? Inconsistent cycles, right? Fertility issues, weight, hormones, thyroid. There's so many things tied in this. And it goes all the way back to that study we were referencing, is that they looked at 44 different cities in the U.S. Is that a big study?
That's a big study.
Over 33,000 people.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. And what they did is they took a cross-section of the gluteus maximus adipose tissue, which is otherwise known as...
the bada bing.
Yeah, the bada bing, the butt fat, right?
Yeah.
And they did this because that's where you store your toxins, is in fat cells. And the body's solution to pollution is dilution, right? So the solution to pollution is dilution. So if you're holding excess fluid, that's because these cells are really swelling. Why is that?
They're swelling because they can't be utilized by the body. So fluids will also accumulate in these fat cells.
Yeah, so they swell up because the body's trying to dilute them so that they aren't as dangerous to the body. But all that does is holds a lot of fluid outside the cells, and then you have the person saying, well, I want to lose weight. Or give me a water pill, right? Because I'm holding, right? Or it can even progress to where it gets to maybe issues where someone's having cellulitis. Have you seen this before?
Absolutely. And, you know, the interesting point about holding water and taking these diuretics, Jamie, is that, yeah, they'll get some of the water out of you, but they also leach minerals. So you're doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing. You're taking nutrients out of the body instead of the toxins.
Yeah, and then what happens if you're using something like a diuretic to excrete fluids? The body's going to rebound, and then what happens?
Then it's going to compound, right? It's going to get worse.
It's similar to when someone goes on a maybe a very low carb diet, which worked great. However, if they introduce the carbs again at a rapid rate, their body starts holding a lot more fluid because they're not used to ingesting that volume. So, going all the way back to the study, it showed over 40 years ago that 100% of people had these toxins in their fat cells. You think it's gotten...
Wait. 100%.
Yeah.
That means nobody doesn't have them.
Everybody. Right. That was 40 years ago. You think it's gotten better or worse?
Yeah, it's definitely gotten worse. I don't know how that's possible, but we're swimming in that sea without a lifeboat.
Yeah, so now you factor in things like, you know, frequencies and electromagnetic waves and, you know, the food or what they perceive as food has only gotten a lot worse, right? The processing of this food that people are eating has gotten worse and worse. And now, you know, people at high risk for maybe breast cancer or uterine, ovarian, prostate, or any types of cancers, they've continually been the number 2 killer in our country, and not only taking the years off the life, but the life off the years.
Well, you know, it's funny because you have all of these things, and what it really boils down to is what we've been saying for years. The cause of disease is toxicity and nutrient deficiency.
Yep, the big 4: toxicity, nutritional deficiencies, stress, and of course the one that everyone is used to is the genetics. And we learned from our recent training that Dr. Bland has said that genetic determinism is really a fallacy, right? When you look at it overall, it is a fallacy, so that, when people say, well, it's my genetics, what's that really saying, Joe?
That means their lifestyle is triggering something that's in their genes. They don't realize it. Most of the time they don't.
Yeah, and Dr. Blandis says, it's about 10%. He says at the most in some situations up to 30. He says, but he feels it's about 10 to 12%. Even if it's 30, he said you have 70%.
That's right.
70% opportunity of control, right? And of influence. So when we look at it, we got to start with some key nutrients. You mentioned minerals before. And originally we were working with an OBGYN and a naturopath on a team. We were looking at creating the ultimate prenatal, right?
Right.
But we didn't want to stop there.
Never.
We says, well, we need the prenatal, but did you know even in committed relationships, about a half of all pregnancies are unplanned?
I figured it was somewhere around there. Yeah, 50-50, yeah.
Yeah, and, you have a couple kids. I got 3 kids myself. How long did it take before your wife knew that she was pregnant?
That's an interesting question, because on our first daughter, she didn't know till she was 5 months pregnant.
5 months?
Yeah, I'm letting it out of the bag. 5 months pregnant. And then guess what? Dana, my daughter, was 2 weeks early. So in 3.5 months, I
there
had a
you
baby.
go. You got to get
Bada bing.
You never know what's going to happen, right? So there you go. 5 months. Would you agree that a lot of the development of that fetus occurred in the first 5 months?
Yes, absolutely.
So without the proper nutrient support, you're going to lose out on opportunity, right? So the point is, folks, you need to have the woman on the Woman's Complete, because even if you're not trying to get pregnant, you could, of course. Also, you want all the nutrients in there so that you get that initial support on brain and spinal cord development.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the first thing that develops along with the heart. And, these nutrients that we can supply on a very economical basis is an easy way to get it done and not have to have,
and it is for women that maybe aren't even in a relationship or not trying to get pregnant, or a younger woman. So any female, pretty much from menstruation all the way through menopause. And when we created the Woman's Complete, we wanted to make sure you have active vitamins. Why active vitamins? Aren't they all the same, Joe?
No, you want the ones that the body is going to recognize as if it was getting it from food, directly from food, and then it can be utilized immediately, especially the B vitamins.
Oh, yeah. So active vitamins, number 1 is. Number 2 is patented, research, trademarked chelated minerals. What's the difference in a chelated mineral versus a regular generic mineral?
Generic minerals are basically rocks, and your body cannot absorb them. Try to eat a rock, see what happens. But these are bound to proteins, so your body looks at it as if, again, it's food, and it absorbs it immediately.
And we didn't stop there at the Woman's Complete by Nutritional Frontiers. We have active vitamins, patented, trademarked research, chelated minerals, a superfood blend, and then Lactospore, which is the number 1 study probiotic for female health. So what are some of the things it's been researched for, Joe?
Oh, my God. It's been researched for everything from the health of the fetus through vaginal disorders, right? Everything that could affect a woman's health, whether it's just hers or her baby's.
Yeah, normally in prenatal or women's vitamins, they're big, hard tablets. We found, believe it or not, people don't like big horse pills, right? So we put them in a veggie cap. And we made it even at a therapeutic level. Can you do 1 cap a day of the Woman's Complete?
You can do 1, you can do 2, you can do 4. It's totally up to you.
You can do 1 to 4 per day.
That's right.
And even at the therapeutic dose of 4 capsules per day, you're looking at less than $2 a day. About the cost of a half a coffee. You don't even get the whole coffee.
You don't get the whole.
You get the cup and maybe a little bit, right?
Right.
So
I love those. Remember the old days when you got an actual porcelain cup And they would just refill it for you as much as you wanted?
Well, that's a long time ago.
Long time ago. Oh, well.
So Women's Complete is the foundation of the month of October for Women's Wellness Month. And like we said, as part of this promotion this month, we are contributing $1. We're going to donate back to a women's health group locally here in the Pittsburgh area per bottle sold. So it's not too late. Anything you buy through today, October 31st, goes right towards this. And a nice bundle. When we talk about bundles, we're looking at, usually 2 formulas together?
Yeah, usually 2, sometimes 3, but a minimum of 2 formulas that work synergistically together and really give you a comprehensive protocol.
Yeah, it's a great word, right? Comprehensive, because the Woman's Complete, oftentimes you have to take 8 or 9 different products to get what you get in there. So we put it all in one. We made it comprehensive. We make it really affordable and simple to take. Yeah. So a lot of people like the Woman's Complete plus the Beauty Complete.
The Beauty Complete formula really adds that last missing piece of the puzzle, a patented research trademark form of a collagen peptide, an amazing ingredient that is going to get maximum benefit to the areas where they want it the most, right? Hair, skin, nails, everything that matters.
Yeah, and there's actually another benefit is the joint health. So you are here live. Happy Halloween, folks. We're at the Bada Bing, and I got my co-host, Silvio Dante. Welcome back, Silvio. I'm your host, Tony Soprano here, and we are filling in for the Jamie and Joe show. We're not sure where those 2 guys are, but they're not here today.
And
so we're
going to have fun. You can do about it.
And we have my nephew, Christopher, here on the running the show on the big board, as they would call it. And we're having fun here today on Halloween, folks. We got to have a sense of humor. That is the one most important things that is often lacking today. And we're talking about women's wellness. It is the last day of the month. And we're talking about the bundles you can do to really maximize the synergy and of the 2 formulas together. So Woman's Complete and Beauty Complete work really well together.
Excellent. Yes.
Another combination if you want to cleanse. So for a female, we're always talking about cleansing the hormones, but also the urinary tract, right? The kidneys, the bladder. Do you often hear about people with bladder infections, kidney infections?
You hear about bladder,
UTIs,
kidney, and urinary tract all the time.
So we have a great formulation called UT Cleanse. We've recently made it new and improved. What was the improvements?
Patented research, trademark form of cranberry extract.
Yeah, the great thing about cranberry is actually will help kill off the bacteria, right, in there. And, when you look at people are like, well, can you see cranberries? You have to eat 10 cups of cranberries to get what you get in 1 scoop of the UT Cleanse.
Can't do that, not even on Thanksgiving.
Impossible, right? So we have the UT Cleanse, works as a nice 1-2 punch with the Estro Cleanse. So UT Cleanse is a nice flavored powdered drink. You can do 1, 2, 3 scoops a day. What if you're having a acute situation going on where you have the urinary tract infection right now? Can you use UT Cleanse?
Yes, that's one of the beauties of it. It can be used therapeutically during a case, or it can be used preventatively as well. Yeah.
So if you're doing therapeutic, you'd go up to 2 to 3 scoops a day?
2 to 3, minimum 2. Yeah.
For what, 1 or 2 containers?
Yeah, at least finish that container off, see how you feel, gauge it by that, and then add another one if you want.
Yeah, we found people that usually get urinary tract infections, right, UTIs, they tend to have them chronically.
Chronically. I just saw a commercial. The woman said she had 8 of them in 1 year.
8?
8.
8 is enough. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, 8 in 1 year. Now, of course, they were pushing some, pharmaceutical, application, but we have a better way.
If we're having them continuously, we got to look at not so much the cure, but what's causing these UTIs, Joe?
Well, again, it's caused by diet and lifestyle. You bring this bacteria is not able to escape your body, so you have to have a way to get it out.
The nice thing is that, let's look at what's feeding it, right? So we know we're in sugar season. Officially starts today, so be careful because the bad bugs, the yeast, right, the candida, they're going to feed on fermented sugars, alcohol, things like that, right? And also we find is that when you just take an antibiotic, it's going to kill off the bad bugs, but the good bugs, and what tend to thrive is the ones that mutate. So in the UT Cleanse, this is a complete formula. We've included the probiotics in there for you.
Exactly. That's what makes it even better because now you're replenishing, making sure that you're repopulating populating that good bacteria while that cranberry extract is getting rid of the bad stuff. We've gotten great results and great testimonials on it.
Yeah, and this would be what I consider more of a short to midterm formula, right? Use it for 4 to 8, maybe 12 weeks, right? And sometimes you just use it acutely as you need it, right?
Yeah, and if you are prone to these, then you can use it for maybe a week every month.
Yeah.
Just prophylactically.
And the nice thing is that, it's more of a short-term formula, and then something like the Estro Cleanse, you get the synergy of those two formulas together. Let's hear a little bit about the Estro Cleanse, because that's been one of our top formulations. So if you're on hormones, you have inconsistent cycles, you have any issues with PMS, you have symptoms like night sweats, hot flashes, things like that, or you get some testing done and you see that your hormones are off, right? Maybe the estrogen level is too high. Testosterone could be low. The T to E ratio is off. So,
well, everything you just mentioned, Jamie, is a result of a hormonal imbalance. And even though this is called Estro Cleanse, it's basically a formulation that helps balance that delicate ratio between estrogen and testosterone.
Yeah, nice thing with the Estro Cleanse has benefits not only for hormone balancing, but a really great antioxidant, right?
Absolutely.
When you look at what's in this formulation, it helps rebalance hormones, but you also have things like curcumin in there. We have things like resveratrol in there.
Yep, green tea, wasabi.
Yeah, it's a nice combination so that it'll help not only balance hormones, but we can't use those words, but it's chemoprotective, right? That's coming from some of our doctors and the research out there, because the wasabi we actually added to the formula called Isabi.
Yeah.
This actually has research on it showing that it actually helps with tumors, right? It can actually shrink tumors. It supports phase 2 liver activity.
Yes.
And it's just one of many nutrients in the Estro Cleanse. Could you take that and the UT Cleanse together?
Well, absolutely. You can take everything that we've been talking about together if you wanted to, Jamie. Yeah, these are bundles that work synergistically. That's why we have them all bundled up in this month of October for Women's Health.
Well, I love it. I just want to let everyone know, happy Halloween. I'm your host today, Tony Soprano, with the one and only Consigliere, Silvio Dante. Welcome back, Silvio.
Hey.
We are live at the Bada Bing here,
Bada
Studio
Bing.
109. And we're talking about our favorite topic, of course, women's wellness.
Yes, it's a very important topic to us.
Behind every strong man is a strong woman, right?
Or two
for Joe, of course. And, we're talking about a very sensitive topic here today and having some fun. But, we've all known so many family members, friends, clients, right? Some really healthy, some not so healthy, have been dealing with women's health issues, right? From anything from hormonal imbalance, weight gain. We look at cancers, right?
Sure.
There's been so
this
many
has probably
UTIs.
touched everybody's family. In one
Oh,
way,
absolutely, right? I know they
Everybody.
talk about breast cancer this month, but in addition, any type of cancer. So as a small give back to the community, Nutritional Frontiers team, it was all the women in our office that said, hey, let's actually give back. We're going to donate $1 per bottle of the Women's Wellness formulas this month. So that includes the Women's Complete, the Beauty Complete, UT Cleanse, Estro Cleanse, and the last two we're going to really talk about a lot today is going to be, of course, things to support thyroid and adrenal, which should be Iodine Plus and Thyroid Complete. So we're donating back to a local women's group and to do our little part that we can help let them know we're thinking about them and that we're here to help them out.
It's a great thing, and especially that we're doing it on a local basis. We want to make sure, because we've always been involved in our community, right, Jamie? That's one of the things that Nutritional Frontiers has done since day one, and this is a great specific way to give back.
Yeah, I've always had this whole dream of doing the charity work, right? And the charity begins at home. Take care of your community, take care of your family, take care of locals, and then we can go after the national level. Because I know when you go on the national level, it could be a lot more challenging. So we want to help out locally first, and then we're going to expand the program out to a national level.
That's right, and that's always been part of the plan. We're reaching out all along the East Coast at this point. We'll get past that pretty soon.
Absolutely. And, it's just part of our NF Gives Back program, right? So we do the Women's Wellness Month. We do the scholarships up at Slippery Rock. We do internships. We help actually sponsor. We do this, pretty much low key, but we sponsor some families at the holidays, which are coming up. So if you're out there listening, you want to be involved, and, there's nothing more fulfilling than giving back, Joe.
That's right. Give back, because once you give back, guess what happens? A lot more comes back to you.
Oh, good. We like the boomerang effect. We do it because it makes us feel good. Plus, when we struggled at times, people have always been there to help us out, right?
Help us out.
I remember many times growing up or being a young adult, family, friends, neighbors, whoever it may be, always there to help you out, and that's what we're here to do for you. And we're doing that with the Women's Wellness Month throughout the month of October. We have these formulations on special. It's running through today, of course. Halloween. One of your favorite holidays, Joe. You didn't have to get dressed up. Where'd you get your costume?
That's what happened. When I came in today, everybody said, "Where's your costume?" I said, "I got the tie."
Where'd you get it from? Your closet?
Yeah, that's why I was a little late. I had to go find one.
Yeah, me too. So we're having a lot of fun today, and we're talking about women's health, of course, and we want to support all the women out there, regardless of age or health issues. So we talked about the Women's Complete and Beauty Complete. Everyone should be on Women's Complete, right?
Yeah, it's the foundation. That's it. Really, there's no other formulation that epitomizes that word like Women's Complete does. Foundation. It is absolutely a foundation. And a lot of men were taking it before we came out with their version.
Well, I just covered up the woe, so it was Men's Complete, right? Now I do the Frontier Men's Complete. But a lot of men like the Women's Complete too. And hey, whatever works for you. But that formula has been one of our biggest launches ever.
And I love the way it evolved, right?
Yeah.
It started as a prenatal, like you said, and then childbearing years, and then menstruation to menopause. It really has evolved into a complete foundation.
And the last bundle we want to talk about today is how to support adrenal thyroid, because when we look at, most people, they wait till the sex hormones are out of balance, right? For the guys, God forbid, erectile dysfunction. For the woman, can have any type of hormonal sequence of events with disruption. The symptom may be vaginal dryness. They may have low libido. They may have higher body fat levels, PMS, night sweats, hot flashes, all these different types of symptoms going on. And they tend to focus on the sex hormone. However, we had Dr. Edwin Lee. He's a functional endocrinologist. He's one of the clients at Nutritional Frontiers. He's based out of Orlando, Florida. And he did a complete seminar series for us a few years ago. And he said it's really a axis of hormones. And it starts with adrenal and thyroid. You got to go further upstream because if you just focus on the sex hormone, you'll get some results, but you're not going to get the full benefit.
No, because it's a complete system, and I think one of the biggest mistakes we've seen over the years, a lot of modern allopathic practitioners will treat an organ outside of its system when you really should not do that. So the thyroid, it's part of the endocrine system. As you said, the adrenals, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus are just as important.
Yeah, so you look at, again, what's the four underlying causes of everything? The biggest one being stress. Do you think people's adrenals are burnt out, Joe?
Yeah. Well, I think you're seeing that more than ever right now. It's amazing how you can go through periods of time in our history and see a lot of high stress. But, boy, I'll tell you what, I don't know if they're going to be able to beat this last couple of years.
No, and then when in doubt, I always go back to sugar, salt, and sex. So if your adrenals are burnt out, you're going to crave sugar, you're going to crave salt, and you're not going to crave sex, right? Unfortunately. So those are some simple symptoms. If you're tired, but you're not sleeping, right, at night. If you're tired all day and at night, you get that second wind with a cortisol spike. If you're having difficulty gaining weight, right? You're gaining it, but difficulty losing weight, right? These are all some of the simple symptoms that we see for people that are adrenally fatigued, that are overstressed. Maybe you don't even tolerate stress as well. The littlest thing can set you off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're not getting any help from their their physicians because they're prescribing things like antidepressants for them, and just saying, it's just part of life. You're just getting old.
And maybe they're feeling some depressed symptoms, right? But that's not a disease.
No.
That's really the underlying cause is adrenal fatigue, right? We even had that video from the doctor in Florida where his patient, a young male, was suffering from adrenal burnout, and he was considering suicide, right?
Yeah,
so, folks, let's talk about two great formulations that are natural solutions, and they create a nice bundle for adrenal, thyroid, and sex hormone fatigue. So let's talk about the Iodine Plus first.
Iodine Plus, that's been a staple in the Nutritional Frontiers line for some years now. Many, many years ago in our industry, you couldn't get a good iodine supplement. And up until probably about 10 years ago, you still couldn't get a good iodine supplement. And so this formulation went above and beyond. It has the right amount of iodine per capsule, 12.5 milligrams, and I'll explain why in a second. But also the cofactors that help your body utilize it and process it through things like the thyroid gland, right? But why is that 12.5 milligrams so important? Then the studies were done that show that you got about 6 to 7 milligrams of iodine utilized by the thyroid gland every single day.
Yeah.
And then as far as women especially, the next highest concentration is in breast tissue. And there's about 6 milligrams that are stored there as well. There's your 12 and
You're
a half.
right on, and where the body holds 20 to 30 milligrams.
Right.
And you think we're deficient in iodine, Joe?
We are, because it used to be used in our food products, and of course that ended many, many years ago, decades ago, and so we're extremely deficient.
And we're seeing the ramifications. Here we are, a whole generation later.
Yeah.
So another of the underlying causes, nutritional deficiencies. But we didn't stop there with just the iodine.
No, we didn't.
Oftentimes, always in the wellness center, Dr. Weiner would recommend iodine, tyrosine, and selenium.
Oh, selenium. We know how important that is. Overall health, antioxidant activity, anti-cancer. Selenium is one of those diamonds in the rough you don't hear about very often, but it's very powerful. And the other thing that with the Iodine Plus, Jamie, you can use it. It's only one capsule. You could titrate that up as needed to get up to 50 milligrams a day.
That is the protocol out there, 50 milligrams for breast health, right? And we're going with Dr. David Brownstein's work for years. He talked about the benefits of tyrosine, selenium, and iodine combination together.
Yep.
And Dr. Weiner used that protocol for years at the Wellness Center. So Iodine Plus is one component, and I really like the other formula, maybe even better, is the Thyro Complete.
It's part of the Complete series from Nutritional Frontiers, and that's growing all the time. But it's a complete product. Why? Because it addresses what we just mentioned, the entire endocrine system. It addresses the fat axis, PHAT, the pituitary, hypothalamus, adrenal, and thyroid, with glandulars from New Zealand, the best of the best, to support those glands, right? Especially the pituitary and the hypothalamus. Thyroid, we've got then an amazing patented research trademarked ingredient, ashwagandha, in there to support the adrenals, and some iodine from kelp. So it's a complete formula.
Yeah, I often get the question if I'm on medications such as levothyroxine, Synthroid, I says, well, you have to take iodine with that because iodine helps with the conversion.
That's right.
So there's tyrosine and selenium.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that when you get your thyroid panel done, you got T4, T3, that's thyroid, and that 4 stands for how many iodine molecules are attached to the thyroid hormone, as well as the 3 stands for 3 iodine molecules. So it is vital to the thyroid.
Yeah, and you need conversion because what the Synthroid is T4, right? So that's like the ingredients to make the cookies, which is the T3. Now, if you're not baking them right, if you're not making them right, you can take all the T4 you want,
right? Or
you're going to get the T3.
Not going to get it. It won't be
converted. You need the conversion.
And that's
so
the active.
Oftentimes what happens is they'll tell you, take more, where you really need help with the conversion factor.
Exactly. You got to get it to the T3 in the body, and that's where most people have that stumbling block. They don't get the conversion.
Yeah, nice thing with the Thyro Complete and the Iodine Plus, these are 1 or 2 caps a day. That's it. You don't need to take 6 or 8 a day. Actually, less is more in these examples, right? Because they are so therapeutic. And you get results quick and fast with the Thyro Complete and the Iodine Plus.
Right, exactly. And it's something that can be taken very safely. And again, it can be taken therapeutically or preventatively. As you get up in age into those brackets where maybe the hormones aren't firing and the glands aren't working as good as they should, let's stimulate them. That's functional medicine, folks. Increase the functionality of the systems of the body.
As the great Lee Haney said, stimulate, don't annihilate. So there's a therapeutic dose for everybody out there.
I think Mike Tyson said the opposite.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, annihilate. Yeah, don't stimulate.
So here we are at the end of another great month of October. We want to say thanks to all the support out there. We're glad that we can actually help this month by growing and giving back to the local women's health group as we celebrate Women's Wellness Month. Everything is on sale through the end of today, which is October 31st, Halloween, hence the costumes today. We didn't have to go real far for the costumes, did we, Sylv?
No, we didn't, T. You know why? Because this is what we live every day. You know, wait a minute. We got a little problem in the store. Maybe we better get down
I think we got to take care of it. A little situation.
Little situation.
We'll make them an offer they can't refuse, Joe. So thanks so much for all the support this month. We're having fun as always. If you have any questions, contact us directly at nutritionalfrontiers.com. Give us a call in the office, and look forward to seeing everyone at our next event coming right up this week.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday, November 3rd, in the great city of Akron, Ohio. Joe and Dr. Len will be speaking at the VIP dinner. There is a seat or 2 left. And what's the topic this week, Joe?
The gut hormone connection, right on target.
Hey, now, you didn't end at the gut
No,
or the hormones.
we got the gut guy and the hormone guy.
Well, there you go. So they're going to teach you everything this week. So come on down to the VIP dinner in Akron, Ohio. Next week, we have the VIP dinner in Tampa. Then we're going to Atlanta. Reminds me of the old days with Dusty Rhodes. We were going on the road trip. And then we're going to wrap it up here in Pittsburgh with the VIP, the Wellness Week. And then here we are at the end of the year. So thanks for all the support. Have a great day, and God bless.